We've got 4 industry heads now. You know the rules. They've got 90 seconds to pitch on what good looks like, because after our morning tea break, we'll be having exactly those roundtables. James Oxenham is the CEO of the Hire and Rental Industry Association. Where are you, James? Be upstanding. Give him a round of applause. He's got 90 seconds. James, your time starts now.
Thank you, Adam. Well, hire companies support the construction sector with equipment and services, and how we would measure what good looks like would be our impact on the market. So looking externally, we look at the solutions that we provide, our safe, reliable equipment that helps the construction industry become more productive. There's less downtime. We can take care of servicing, preventative maintenance, use telematics and all the technology that's available to keep things running smoothly. We'd also look at technology to help us improve compliance, whether that be through training, moving away from sort of plastic cards licenses across to digital ones, the yellow card being an example of that for EWPs, now available on an iPhone or Android. We also look at how sustainable the equipment is in terms of emissions and moving across towards battery and hydrogen. Internally, we're looking at people, how we can retain those people, the current talent that we've got, how we can grow and develop them through programs, and also diversity. Our Women in Hire program is now into its 7th year, and all of these initiatives help us attract new talent into the industry. And finally, we look at the circular economic benefits of using equipment rather than a linear model where you use it and then it stands idle. So thank you.
Thank you very much, James. Nicholas Proud is the National CEO of the Civil Contractors Federation. Nicholas, you've got 90 seconds, mate. You know the rules. Fire away.
Morning all. Thank you for the time, very short as it is, but it's an opportunity to talk about what civil contracting is, and we've got 1,200 members, 100,000 employees across the country. We do the roads, the subdivision, the highways, the water, the sewerage, the energy transition. We are creating housing enabling infrastructure. You probably notice this when you get slowed up on the way to work, but generally it's in the ground. You don't see us in the horizontal. We've got 3 quick points. Industry culture, I'm glad to see that that's number 1. We also see that industry workforce development is critical, and also government procurement. For us, I'm glad the culture is the focus for today. Construction has double the rate of suicide of other industries, and we need to see that we can go to work safely, come home safely, and we're free of intimidation, coercion, and the points that are made by the Minister are very important. For us, that comes back to workforce development, so we need to make sure that we have the right skills, the right training, the well-being is critical here, and diversity amongst the people in those training environments. Procurement, national significant programs are great, they're important, but we need to see housing enabling infrastructure go right throughout the country if we're going to break the deadlock that we have that's seeing housing at decade lows and probably on the way to record lows. You can't spend $1 in housing till you spend $1 in civil, and we need to make sure as a country that we recognise that we've got infrastructure as the focus. Thank you.
Oh. Perfectly done, Nicholas. Great stuff. Now from the Master Electricians Australia, big word up to the Sparkies in the house. We've got Kate Raymond, their CEO. Kate, take it away.
Thank you. Trade contractors, like others, would like to see the fundamentals, to be paid for work done, to have implementable rules for their business, to have access to a skilled workforce and fair and reasonable risk allocations. Security of payment is complex and inconsistent. We'd like to see a FEG-like scheme for subcontractors to be paid reasonable amounts following builder insolvency, potentially funded from a centralised retention holding facility. Regulation of our industry has become counterproductive. Over-regulation, knee-jerk responses and inconsistent rules are needlessly putting business owners through hoops without benefit and must stop. Government policy decision makers should spend time on construction work sites to better understand the system as a whole and the impacts of regulation. Moving to workforce, the lack of a systems approach is again evident. A huge government spend on renewables is welcome, but a lack of workforce planning leaves smaller businesses without workers. They cannot compete against EBA rates, especially when servicing the residential sector. Losing supervisors means losing apprentices. There must be better planning of where a workforce will be drawn from without decimating SME contractors. While the number of women in trades is increasing, it is pitifully small. Changing the culture and conditions on site is as important as promoting trades to girls in high school. On risk, subcontracts must have fairer risk allocations and be more collaborative, starting with prolongation costs where delays are outside the control of the subcontractor.
Thank you very much, Kate. And to bring this session home, the CEO of Roads Australia, Ehsan Vazade. Where's Ehsan? Ehsan, you've got 90 seconds, mate. Take it away.
Thank you, Adam. So we represent more than 120 member organisations from across the supply chain, everyone from the planners, design firms, engineers, constructors, and those taking care of the operations and maintenance. But importantly, we're the nexus where government and private sector meet. And to me, what good looks like, you've heard it all today. You've seen it on the poll. Our advocacy agendas are shared, very much shared. Most importantly, what good looks like is how we get it done. And how we get it done is having government and the private sector coming to a point where they accept that we have a shared responsibility and shared burden to deliver this infrastructure. And what does that mean? For government to understand that when there are cost overruns, when there are delays, it is not only on those who are their clients providing that service and building those projects, it actually is up to the government, and the taxpayer sees it as a government responsibility. So therefore, the fair risk allocation has to be fixed there. But also on the industry, we must accept that governments are facing unprecedented challenges with the debt burden that they face. So we can't underestimate that challenge. Unless we accept those really, really difficult sets of circumstances that we face, we're going to be back here talking about, in 20 years' time, what our agenda was in 2024 that hasn't changed in 2044. So let's not make that mistake and accept that it's a risk challenge that we all face.